This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
So I came across this video on social media, and it was one of those scenarios where I thought to myself, I don't actually know how this would apply in my own relationship and how it would work. So this is the scenario, okay? It's Super Bowl weekend. Mm-hmm. We're going to make nachos, okay?
Love it already.
Everybody knows you need nachos. It's part of the spread.
Hundo.
So you send your partner to the grocery store with a list. You're going to make nachos. So all the things that you would need for nachos,
Gotta have the list.
You got to have the list. So we're talking about the cheese, the guac, you have the salsa,
Jalapenos.
the jalapenos, the ground meat. You put it all on the list. However, I don't put on the list tortilla chips, okay? Oh. I put on all the ingredients that would be required to make nachos, but I don't put on tortilla chips.
You already have tortilla chips at home?
Well, the question is, do you buy tortilla chips because it's, well, common sense, you know that we're making nachos, or do you assume that the reason why it was left off the list is because we already have them?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did she forget to put it on, or was it just an oversight because it's such an obvious component to the nachos?
And if you're the person who always gets the list when you go to the grocery store, like, how do you read those lists? So for me, that's my husband. I give him the list.
Right.
I'm very specific in the list. So I asked him this question. In this scenario, what would you do?
I would send you back a note and say, honey, please go into the pantry and see if we have tortillas.
Oh, tortilla chips, not tortillas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to give you some points for that.
That's too logical.
Yeah. I like that he's double checking because I would have put it on the list if we didn't have them.
Right.
But because we have them, I didn't put them on the list.
Right. Also, is it really bad if you buy extra tortilla chips? Like, you'd buy them because they're tortilla chips. They're great. It never hurts to have extra. I will say something. I consider myself intelligent. However, something happens to me when I have a list. I go on autopilot. It's like when you've got GPS, you're not really thinking about where you're going because you're just following left turn, right turn.
Right.
When I have a shopping list, I just follow it verbatim and common sense goes out the window. So if you gave me this list that had salsa, guac, cheese, jalapenos, ground meat, I would absolutely not buy tortilla chips and not even give it a second thought.
Until you got home and got in trouble.
And then I'd be like, why didn't you put it on the list? This is your fault. This is your list.
Yeah.
You put it on the list.
It's not a bad point. Like, I'm to the point now where so much has happened where I've given my husband a list and things go wrong when he comes home that I'm very specific on the list. So I'll even say things like tortilla chips, we already have them. Or like, I'll like buy extra. Or I'll go get very specific on the list. Or I'll be like, buy Dove or I actually put in the brand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to leave any room for interpretation or Paul's common sense.
Yes.
You just want your list.
I'm very, very specific about it.
Okay, Steph, what would you do in this situation?
I write my lists really specific. Not that specific. I'm not putting brand name in there, but my boyfriend would do the same thing. If I didn't put tortilla chips on there, he would assume we have them. Right. And he might second guess me sometimes and think that I forgot and do the same thing as Paul and call or text and be like, do we have the chips or not?
I like that you're double checking.
Yeah, right. And I can see how blame could go all ways on this one, right? The list maker, the person not using common sense, i.e. me in this scenario, going on autopilot. What would you do?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
What would you do in this scenario? You know it's Super Bowl Sunday. You're making nachos. You get a list from your partner to go to the grocery store to get everything that you would need for nachos, from the cheese to the guac to the salsa, the ground meat.
Making me so hungry.
Sorry.
Listing off all these toppings.
It's gonna be delicious. But on that list, there are no tortilla chips. What do you do? Does that mean that you already have them? Do you buy them anyway? Why were they left off the list? What do you do?
I'm just going to buy like 2 bags just to overcompensate just in case. I don't know. Okay, Jim in Scarborough, what would you do?
Well, before I make a decision of what to do, I would really have to consider what mood my wife was in before I left. Because if I texted her, do we need the chips? And she was in a foul mood, I would get back. If I needed them, I would have put them on the list.
All caps.
All caps. And if I make my own decision and don't buy them and got home, she said, why did you get them? You should have called me just to confirm.
Oh, dear.
So I would just have to reconsider what her mood was before I make the decision. If I'm going to be wrong, I'm going to be wrong. So I might as well make my own decision.
You're a wise man, Jim. Thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
Sounds like Jim's used to being wrong.
Not his first rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you do in this scenario, Ron in Toronto?
No. Even if I have them, I'll pick up extra just in case we don't have.
Nice.
So I'll be one step ahead of the game.
Yeah, it never hurts to have more tortilla chips, right? You can just keep them in the car, and if you've already got them, you can just save them as your car chips.
Exactly. And be ahead of the game.
I like that.
Ron, you're the best. Thanks for the call, Ron.
No problem.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye. You too. God bless.
I love that Ron's one step ahead. He's like, I have to be ahead of the game.
I love it. You can tell who's been married for a while in terms of who's calling us and texting us. Listen to this text from David. David goes, David must be a lawyer. David goes, look at the list like it's a contract and make them sign off confirming you won't have to go back out for one item. Can you please initial after each item, sign and date over here?
I love that text, and I'm actually going to start adopting that actually on a go forward.
Really, you're
going
to get into something legal with your husband who's a lawyer? You're going to lose that battle.
Yeah, probably. You're right. All right.
What do you do? I feel like Keanu Reeves. What would you do?
Giovanni in Mississauga, what would you do?
Okay, if my wife makes the list, okay, what I would do is I would check it before I leave, and if I don't see the nacho chips, I would check for that. Trust me, from experience, my marriage, that's how it works. If the nacho chips are very important for the game, yeah, I would check it, and I wouldn't say anything. Unless she's hiding them somewhere.
Why would she be hiding them?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I love that you're like, I wouldn't even ask her. So you do all your research before you even leave the house.
Yeah, exactly, miss. Because the way I look at it is, once I'm there, right? Like, people wait for the last second to do things. So let's say I get to the grocery store, I say, well, what's going on? There's no nacho chips here. I phone her, and she doesn't answer the phone, which she usually doesn't.
Wow.
But she expects me to answer the phone right away when she calls me. Listen, when you be married for a while, I won't say how many years, you'll know the procedure. So that's the procedure.
Okay.
Okay.
So it sounds like there's some airing of grievances
I am
here.
taking notes.
Yeah,
I am taking
Giovanni.
notes.
Oh, yeah. I hope everybody's listening to me.
We are. We love it.
Giovanni, preach, man. Thank you for taking the time, buddy.
Hey,
we
guys.
appreciate you dropping
Hey.
some wisdom on us.
Stay warm, guys. It's cold outside.
Will do. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
I love Giovanni.
I loved you. I felt like we were marriage counselors for a second.
I just want to sit on a porch with Giovanni and have a drink and just listen to him tell me stories. Giovanni's awesome.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
Okay, if you have a never-ending to-do list, and I feel like I always have a to-do list. There's never a time in my life where I'm like, I don't have anything to do.
No, not even on vacation. Not even on vacation, there's stuff to do.
There's still stuff to do because there's all these places you want to see in the museums and all the stops. There's always a to-do list.
Yep.
How you tackle that, obviously it causes stress, anxiety, your blood pressure goes up, all of the mental fatigue that comes with looking at this list and feeling so overwhelmed actually exhausts you before you've even started.
Totally. And this just all feeds into just to make a bigger point, Western culture, rat race culture,
yes,
Toronto culture. I was just down in Tucson, Arizona. It's a different speed of life. If you've ever been out to Vancouver, a little bit slower pace of life.
Yes.
Toronto is such a hustle. It's like New York. And all of us have a million things to do and it never ends. And I don't know if this is a good thing. We're maybe accomplishing more, but is this good for us? I don't know.
No, it's not. And you're also burning through all this energy. So the hack, according to experts, is something called time blocking.
Time blocking.
Time blocking.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah. So it's basically when you, instead of just saying, okay, I've got all these things to do, and you try to multitask.
It's just saying no to everything.
Yes. And just, putting your feet up on the couch.
Putting up the hand, giving it to Kemby Mutombo. Blocking you.
No. It's that you actually say, okay, from 9 to 10 a.m., I'm answering emails. Then from 10 to 12, I'm going to tackle this project. Then from 12 to 1, I'm going to eat. And then from 1 to 3, I'm going to visit with my clients or whatever it might be. Obviously, it will be dependent on what's on your to-do list.
Making a schedule and sticking to it?
Sticking to it, but then over time, you start to realize how much time it actually takes you to do those things. And you're not wasting all that sort of brain power, if you will, or that mental fatigue thinking about other things.
Right.
So you're more focused, you get things done, and you're probably more efficient at getting it done in that time block.
Because there are times where I will write out a to-do list, I'll look look at it and I'll be like, oh, which one should I start with? Okay, let me do a little bit of this. Okay, let me try to do some of that.
Yeah, no.
And you wind up doing a little bit of everything, but you're not doing any one particular thing well.
And then you're not checking it off. It's not done per se, or you're distracted or all those things. This eliminates all of that. Time blocking.
It's tough in today's society to do that, especially with the cell phone, because there's just a million. I feel like time blocking would have been a lot easier to execute in like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Now you really got to try to time block.
It's so true, but I know I am guilty of doing this. I'll take on too much and then I get overwhelmed. And then the next thing you know, I'm watching reality TV and catching up on The Bachelor.
Okay. Can I try this right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to time block from 5 to 9 a.m. I am babysitting my friend Pooja. Hosting the show with my friend Pooja.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Diving into a heavier topic than usual here on the Pooja and Gurdeep show, but I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Is it time to get rid of the national anthem before local sporting events? I say yes. I've actually been on team get rid of the anthem for a while, but the reason this is kind of on the front burner right now is because of this pending trade war between Canada and the U.S. You're seeing the anthems getting booed, the opposing anthem. So, the Canadian anthem got booed at an Ottawa Senators Nashville game in Nashville. The Star Spangled Banner is getting booed at Scotiabank Arena and in other Canadian cities when American teams come in. And it's tough to hear. It's tough to watch. The whole thing with playing the anthem before sporting events, this all started in the 1940s during the Second World War, which I completely get.
Yeah.
When there's an international event like war or something like that, I absolutely understand. It's about solidarity with the country, but it just sort of kind of got grandfathered in after that. But I'm wondering, do we need to be playing the anthem before every single local sporting event? Like, does an Edmonton Oilers Carolina Hurricanes game on a Tuesday night in January need both anthems?
So specific.
Before, you know what I mean? It's just so random. Like, do we need to hear both anthems?
I never thought about it till you brought it up, and it makes sense to not play them because it's something that's happening so regularly. It's not like on a world stage.
Yes, and I hope you're not hearing this and thinking like, oh wow, these two are unpatriotic. It's not about that. We love Canada. We love where we're from. It's just, don't you think the anthems would be more special if they were reserved for the Olympics,
right?
International competition, and maybe like the first Leaf game of the season or your local team, the playoff home games. They're doing this four nations face-off with the NHL with Canada, U.S., Finland, and Sweden. That's international competition.
Yes.
It would carry more weight. It would have more meaning. What you get now is every year, it goes viral on YouTube and you see it on Sportsnet when people butcher the anthems because you're force-feeding 82 anthems across multiple sports thousands of times. It just loses meaning. It drags out the broadcast. And now you're seeing the anthems getting booed, which really just feels like sacrilege.
Yeah, and not okay. Yeah. But I never thought about it till you said it. So I see both sides of it. I see why people want the anthem there. I get why it doesn't make sense to maybe play it at just local events and more on like a world stage or international stuff. Yeah. I don't know how I really feel. I don't know if it would bother me either way if we just left it or if we got rid of it.
And this is a very secondary argument, but all the leagues are trying to tighten up their games and their broadcast now because of shorter attention spans. Here's a way to shave about 5 to 7 minutes off the game if you cut out these anthems. I know it's a controversial topic, but it's top of mind because of the trade war and watching it. In some cases, it's young kids. I think it was a 17-year-old singing the anthem got booed, which is just a traumatic experience.
Not okay.
That many people are
because how do you stop that too? You can't stop the fans from booing.
Because then it becomes mob mentality as well, right? So is it time to get rid of the national anthems before local sporting events? Steph and I say it is. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Give us a call, 416-872-CHFI.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Very topical and contentious subject as the opposing anthems continue to get booed at sporting events. And I'm taking the stance that it's time to get rid of national anthems before local sporting events. Save them for international competition. The World Cup of Hockey is coming up, the Four Nations face-off, for Olympics, maybe for big, meaningful games, playoff games, first game of the season, but I don't think they need to be at every single game. I know, it's controversial, it's a national anthem, but what do you think? Is it time to get rid of the national anthems before local sporting events? Let's go to DJ in Toronto.
I think they should stay because, listen, you have all these people in the arena listening to the anthem. They understand that, we're patriotic. We should be hearing the anthem every single time. People go to work every day nowadays. We don't hear the anthem. Kids are in school. They have to hear the anthem every single morning, right? So if people are in the stadiums and they hear people booing, they should take a listen and be like, what's going on in the world right now? Why are they booing another anthem? And then it makes people think twice. You said 17-year-olds, it could scare them or make them not understand, but then they think twice because guess what? Next year they're voting. They're voters.
You raised some good points, DJ. The 17-year-old thing I was referring to was the anthem singer was actually 17. And I was just saying it's really tough to see a kid essentially get booed when they're singing the anthem, right? Like that part I really didn't like seeing. You do raise some really,
I would have liked that, yeah.
Yeah, you do raise some really good points. Like I think we're just so used to hearing it. And myself, I'm a lifelong sports fan. It's so baked into my mind that we have to hear the anthems before the game. But when you sit down and really think about it point by point, I think I'm at a point personally where I'm ready to save the anthems for international competitions, big games, and times when your country is maybe dealing with a conflict, whether it's actual war, whether it's economic warfare. I think it just carries more meaning when it's saved for meaningful times. But, that's okay. We're allowed to disagree, right?
Of course.
Yeah. DJ, appreciate your thoughts, man. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank you.
You too. Is it time to get rid of national anthems before local sporting events? This is a spicy topic. Lots of texts coming in. This person texting in saying, yes, drop the anthems at local sporting events. Another text coming in here from Deanne saying, yes, keep the anthem. So much tradition has already been taken away. Children know the anthem because of sporting events and other big events. That's a very good point, Deanne. Okay. Let's take a call here. Is it time to get rid of national anthems before local sporting events? Chris in Oshawa.
So I kind of went with the side of they can get rid of it when everybody started kneeling during the anthem a couple of years ago.
Right. Okay. I remember that.
So they're using it to protest now, and it shouldn't be used as a thing to protest. So booing, taking anything, they should be getting rid of it.
Okay. So you're on team. It's time to shelf the anthem for now.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Chris, appreciate your thoughts, man. Thanks for calling.
Take care.
Another great text coming in here from Andy saying, I'd say it's time to get rid of the anthems for domestic games. The whole of Europe reserves anthems for international games. It makes it more special and patriotic. Thank you, Andy. That is my whole point with this thing. Save it. The more sparingly you use it, the more meaningful and impactful it is when you actually play the anthem. Is it time to get rid of the national anthems before local sporting events? You've got a lot to say on this one. Thanks for all the calls and texts. Let's go to Danny in Georgetown.
Yeah, let's just play the home team. Like, we don't need to play both. And then they wouldn't boo the away team, right? So if they just played the home team anthem, so just one anthem per game, then I think that's perfect, really.
Maybe that's, because for some people, getting rid of the anthems is a bridge too far. Maybe this is the compromise. Right. Maybe you just play the anthem of the country in which the game is being played.
Exactly, and then there's no booing, right?
Okay, this feels like compromise. You're the first person to suggest that. I like that, Danny. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
There we go. I really like that. Just play the anthem of where the game is being played. That's pretty good. That way you still show your support for the country. You can still support Canada, but you're not dealing with two anthems and you're not opening the door for someone booing.
Right. You're playing the game in that country.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do one more here. Margot in Toronto. Is it time to get rid of the national anthems before local sporting events?
Yes, I think we should play the Canadian anthem, especially now more than ever. I don't believe in booing the American anthem. That's wrong. But yes, we should be proud and Canadian, especially now.
Absolutely. Couple of proud Canadians in this room. But so do you think we should continue to play both anthems or just the anthem of maybe the country where the game is being played?
Well, both anthems is a lot. Definitely Canadian anthem, I guess.
Margot, appreciate your call. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Love all the perspective from you guys via call and text. Thank you for having a civil discussion about what is obviously a controversial topic. What do you think? Let's go to Seema in Toronto.
Probably take a break. But I remember, and I'm old enough to remember when we played the national anthem at assemblies or all kinds of events, and I missed it. Mm-hmm. I really, really missed it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I love the anthem, and I almost want the opportunity to miss it a little bit because I hear it before every Jays game, every Leafs game, every Raptors game, every Argos game, and on and on and on. I want the opportunity to miss it so that when it plays at the Four Nations Face-Off or the World Cup or Canada at the Olympics or the World Championship, that it hits different, that it means something to me when I hear it. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? I totally know what you mean. And maybe it would be good for all of us to miss it.
Right. What's the saying?
Maybe it would be good for the Americans to miss it.
Yeah. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Theirs.
Yeah. Seema, I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you so much for taking the time.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
A divisive topic for sure here. Let's go to Cheryl in Newmarket. What do you think?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
How come?
Especially with what's going on now, we should use our anthem every opportunity you get. Every opportunity we get, we should use it. It is equivalent to praying. And since praying is obsolete now, nobody wants anybody to pray in public, use our anthem. And the anthem is very nice. If you listen to the words of the Canadian anthem, it just hits you in your heart. I think we should never get rid of the Canadian anthem in no capacity at all.
How do you feel, Cheryl, when you hear the Canadian anthem getting booed in the U.S. and you hear the U.S. anthem getting booed in Canada?
You know what? We just have to deal with the Boers. The Boers are the minority, so we just have to let the Boers know that if you boo the Canadian anthem, there is some repercussional measures, for use of a better word. It's like booing prayer. No. But if you know I love you. I love you to the bone, but I have to disagree with this one.
Hey, that's okay. Listen, I bring this up, and I knew there was going to be calls and thoughts on both sides. It's a controversial topic. I get it. But, Cheryl, I really appreciate your thoughts, and I feel the passion in your voice. So thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts.
Thank you very much. Gurdeep. You take care, sweetie. Bye-bye.
I love that. Okay, well done. Thank you for sharing. You can keep your thoughts coming at 981-981. Text coming in saying, I don't think they need to play the anthem before a local sporting match. The teams represent a city, not the entire country. That's a very good point. Let's go to Danny in Georgetown. What do you think?
Yeah, let's just play the home team. Like, we don't need to play both, and then they wouldn't boo the away team, right? So if they just played the home team anthem, so just one anthem per game, then I think that's perfect, really.
Maybe that's, because for some people, getting rid of the anthems is a bridge too far. Maybe this is the compromise. Maybe you just play the anthem of the country in which the game is being played.
Exactly, and then there's no booing, right?
Okay, this feels like compromise. You're the first person to suggest that. I like that, Danny. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, that's maybe the best idea I've heard all morning, and maybe it's the best compromise. Just play the anthem of the host nation. If there's a game in Toronto or Ottawa or Edmonton or Montreal, you play the Canadian anthem. If it's a game in the States, you play the Star Spangled Banner.
I don't know what the answer is. My mind went back and forth all morning.
Well, some very convincing people. Yeah.
It's like, yes, no. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel.
Hallmarks of a healthy debate.
Yeah.
The Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
Okay, so January is basically a month of hibernation. No one wants to do anything. It's cold. You're spent financially and emotionally from Christmas. I think now people are starting to come out of their shells a little bit. Social things are happening again. And I'm wondering... Stef, if you are hosting a birthday dinner at a restaurant, is it assumed that you will pay for all your guests? This is a social question.
Okay, do you want to hear my scenario?
I feel like you'd have a story for this.
I do have a story for this.
You get a story for everything.
I do. Okay, so in October, it was my birthday, and my boyfriend said, hey, okay, let's invite all your friends and go out for dinner. And I said, cool. I said, if you do that, you're paying for everybody, right? And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, you are. So then we didn't go out for dinner.
Oh, so that
we just had everybody over at my house. Is what we did.
I'm with you. If your partner organizes a birthday dinner for you, you're sort of under the soft assumption as one of the friends attending that, like, okay, Steph and her partner are covering this.
Right. So now it's his birthday coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And I want to do something really big for him. It's his 50th. So he's
milestone.
Having like I want to do a big birthday party. But at the same time, now that's how I am. That's how we grew up in Italian background. You pay for everything. If you're hosting it, you're paying. So now I want to invite everybody. And I know that I have to pay for everybody. But then as I'm talking to people about this, they're like, why are you paying for everything? And I'm like, because I'm having the birthday party.
You're hosting it. You're going to do this at a restaurant?
Yeah, I'm going to do, I think. And then the other scenario where we're having this conversation is, well, how come when I go with my girlfriends, we're just like, hey, let's go for dinner. And then we all go and everyone pays their own. And then whoever's birthday it is, they pay. So I'm like stuck. I'm like, I'm not going to ask people to pay. That's not how I am.
Yeah,
but am I assuming that I'm paying?
I think this is really cultural because you said Italian. This is what you brought up. Indian and Italian are very similar. Like same thing. Like anytime, if my mom hosted a party for my dad's birthday when we were younger, like, yes, of course, we made the booking, we made the reservation.
Right, you're inviting everyone.
You're covering the bill. And then, when it's another couple's turn, they they cover it off. But I think part of this comes down to being single or having a partner because if, like for me, for example, I'm not a big birthday guy and I don't have a partner. So when it's my birthday, if my friend's like, come on, let's go out for dinner for your birthday, I'll be like, all right. In that scenario, they're probably all chipping in to cover my plate.
Because
However,
you guys are having a conversation about it. You're planning it together. I guess you kind of know, right? Like they're bringing you out.
Yes. However, if my scenario changes and I have a partner and then she plans my next birthday dinner and invites a bunch of my friends, well, guess what? Then we're paying.
But why?
I don't know why. I can't tell you why.
But that's why I'm like, I know I'm going to. Like that's. But why?
It's just the social and cultural, the weight of the social and cultural expectation. And maybe we're wrong. You and I, again, are Italian and Indian.
Right.
So, like, maybe this is just us.
It's
Maybe
the
people
guilt.
the guilt. It's the cultural guilt instilled upon us by our parents. Maybe you're listening to this, shaking your head, going, no, this is completely wrong. You tell us. Here's the question. If you're hosting a birthday dinner at a restaurant, is it assumed that you will pay for all your guests?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
Is it assumed that you have to pay for all your guests if you're hosting a birthday dinner?
When you're Italian, yes.
When you're Indian, I think so as well. But I don't know. This is a bit of a spicy meatball. Does everyone pay their own plates? Do you have to pay for it? What do you think? Let's go to Chris in Kawartha Lakes.
So I feel that if I am hosting something for children, then yes. But if it is an adult thing, I think our dynamics have changed so much over the years that families have been pitching in and everybody kind of takes care of their family. Because realistically, the prices of food, eating out at a restaurant, and if you want to have everybody, it makes it really impossible to be able to afford that.
Yeah,
So in our family, when we have a birthday dinner, every family pays for their own. And then if there's somebody that's having a birthday, usually everybody pitches in to cover their meal.
Right. And that's what I was looking at. I'm looking at prices and I'm like, holy cow, it's like a small wedding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Chris, we appreciate you weighing in on this. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. And I enjoy listening to you guys every morning.
We appreciate that. Thank you, Chris. We love having you.
Thank you. Bye.
Keep your texts coming. If you're hosting a birthday dinner at a restaurant, is it assumed that you'll pay for all your guests? You can text us at 981-981. Paul in Toronto, what do you think?
Yeah, it is. I just had a milestone birthday recently, and I went to a nice restaurant, and I told them order off the menu, and I paid for it all.
You paid for it all?
Yeah.
And it was your own birthday?
Yeah, it was my own birthday, and you get gifts back from them. Like, they bring you stuff, so it's not like you're losing.
Paul, may I ask, and I hope I'm not prying, what is your cultural background?
European.
European, okay. But more specifically?
Greek,
okay.
Yeah, so
Greek,
you fall in the
Italian,
same
Indian.
guilt.
I think we all had the same situation with our parents, right? Like, this is what you do. So that makes sense. Paul, thank you for sharing, and happy belated.
Thank you.
Okay, so is it a cultural thing? Maybe.
I think so.
I think if you're sending out like invites.
I'm not sending out invites, but I'm
Invites?
No.
With texts?
Verbal.
You're going around to people's door? You're like,
I'm like,
hello.
Hear ye.
Keep that. Yeah.
On the 1st of March. No, just because it's family and friends. So like we've chatted about it. So they know that it's happening. I just don't know what I'm doing.
That keeps it informal enough that maybe you'll be off the hook, Steph.
No, it's not going to happen.
Just bounce before the bill comes.
I will have no friends after this if I make them pay.
I think because it's a milestone birthday to your boyfriend's 50th that I feel like you're on the hook for it. Text coming in here. This person says, no, my friends and I do this for a lot of birthdays. They book a place and get a set menu, and we all know what we have to pay individually. Drinks are also every person for themselves. It's the most fair way to do it.
I don't know.
And then Mark texting in saying, I think you should have to pay for your guest if you're hosting a birthday dinner.
I know, and that's what my heart and my head tell me because I was raised that way.
Same. Like my parents did this when they hosted dinners.
Yeah.
We were the beneficiaries of it when family friends hosted dinners. It's just like in the end, it should all even out.
I feel bad even having to even think that, but because people have been like, why are you paying? And I'm like, I don't know. Why am I paying? I think I have to pay. That's how it works.
And I get it. It's tough now because everyone's stretched so thin with how expensive everything is in this city especially. But what do you think? If you're hosting a birthday dinner at a restaurant, is it assumed that you'll pay for all your guests? Let's go to Brian in Acton.
I think it depends on the scenario. If it's somewhere where you're calling and you're
just asking friends to get together and hang out, then I don't think you would.
Right.
But if it's a scenario where you're calling and you're booking, making reservations, then yes, absolutely.
I'm
You're
talking
footing the
like you or your partner sending out an Evite, like a save the dates.
Then you're on the hook. 100%.
Then you're on the hook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Steph, is there going to be an Evite?
There's not going to be an Evite. I've already talked to like friends and family, so they know that I'm doing something. But that, like I'm just assuming I'm paying.
Right. Yeah.
I think if it's a pre-organized event, you are definitely footing the bill.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm spontaneous and spur of the moment. I'm never on the hook for anything. Brian, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Love the show. Take care.
If you're hosting a birthday dinner, is it assumed that you're going to foot the bill for all your guests? Steph, this is because your boyfriend has a big milestone birthday coming up.
And because I'm Italian.
And because you're Italian. And, no, honestly, I think...
Seriously.
I think a big part of this is cultural because... You're Italian. This is what Italians do. I'm Indian. I grew up with, like, if my parents were hosting a party at a restaurant, they're going to foot the bill. But then it kind of like evens out in the end because everyone takes turns hosting parties and foots the bill. And
But
I know things are expensive.
So expensive now, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't want to. I assumed I was doing it, but people are questioning. They're like, why are you doing it? And I'm like, I don't know. Why am I doing it?
Yeah, because we're getting a lot of texts from people who've been like, what? This isn't a thing. And then it feels like our
Very
inference that this is cultural is proving out to be correct. Sam in Toronto, what do you think?
I think that it is. So I was raised in a Greek household, and if you invite people out to anything, means that you're flipping the bill.
Yep, I hear you.
And I think this comes down to the cultural thing again, too, right? Italian, Indian, Greek. There's some similarities there in terms of how we were raised and the values, right?
People pleasers, right?
People pleasers, yeah.
I think it's the same way, like if you're having everybody over, you're not expecting everybody to just bring food. You're going to have a certain amount ready so everybody's able to eat, everybody's able to have a good time. And just
That's the thing. If I have everyone over at my house, I'm having it like catered. And if
Right.
I'm going out, I'm footing the
Right.
bill. So either way, I'm paying.
And also within our cultures, you never show up at someone's house without empty. You never show up empty-handed, right? So we're always showing up with something.
Yeah, you're going to be talked about forever.
Yeah, exactly, and uninvited. Sam, thank you for the call, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, have a great day, guys.
Conrad in Markham, what do you think?
100% you got to pay for your guests.
Yeah, how come?
You're the one hosting the party, and if you think about it, if you're going to do something large, an event where you're going to do a banquet hall, you're going to do the same thing. So whether it's at a restaurant or at a banquet hall, you're still the host.
And I think, too, it comes down to, like, you're asking them to come out. You're putting them out of their way. I know they're celebrating with you, but you don't know everyone's financial situation. So if I can't afford to do it, then why would I expect someone else to come to the party and foot the bill?
100%. But now you can do some to control budget. Like, you can talk to a restaurant and say, hey, I'm bringing 50 guests.
Right.
Can I have a control menu? And then the menu's set.
Right.
You can tell the kids are having, how many adults are having, and you can negotiate a price.
Right.
Yeah, or if you really want to control the budget, you can do it at Taco Bell.
Everyone pays the price after.
Yeah, that's true. We're all paying for that one for 24 hours. Conrad, thanks so much for the call, buddy. We appreciate you.
Very welcome. Listen to you guys all over the morning. Have a great
thanks.
one.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Text coming in here at 981-981 saying, sometimes for birthday dinners, we order appies and shareables for the whole table that we would cover, but then every person is responsible for their own meal if they choose to have something else.
I wish we were those people.
Is that a compromise?
Good. I don't know. I would feel bad doing that. I think it's because we've set up the standard. Like all of our friends do the same thing. All of our family members do the same thing. And there's like, we've set that up.
Yeah. Good luck telling that to your Italian ancestors.
Right?
They're gonna be like,
We got
very
appetizers.
disappointed.
They're
Yeah,
like-
we got the mozzarella sticks. No, that's not going to fly. Question of the day. If you're hosting a birthday dinner at a restaurant, is it assumed that you're going to pay for all your guests? This because Steph is hosting a big milestone birthday for her partner. A lot of different opinions on this one. Simran in Mississauga, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm both. So I'm with Steph in a sense that if I'm going with my girlfriends and they're taking me out, then okay, they're going to pay. I don't assume that happens.
Right.
But if I'm going out to big dinner, like to a restaurant, I haven't come to a situation where we have to pay. Like my friend and her husband, we went out to celebrate her birthday. We all paid for our own meals. And Gurdeep, they're Indian too.
Ooh, interesting.
You paid for your own meals?
At an Indian hosted dinner.
What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
If we were to do like a party at house, then of course, then the hostess, like myself or my mom or whoever, we would like buy dinner for everyone. But yeah, when we go to a restaurant, I've never come to a situation where my friends say we pay.
So let me ask you, when you went to that birthday dinner and you paid, did you just assume you were paying? Did everybody know that they were paying? Were you told beforehand?
We weren't told, but we all kind of assumed.
Oh, maybe I should just do that and just be like, here's your bill.
Interesting. Okay.
Let the bills come.
All right. Simran from Mississauga, thanks for the call.
All right, cool. Thanks. Have a great morning, guys.
That's a shocking phone call right there. I have never met
okay?
an Indian family.
I know, me
that,
too.
Like makes everyone pay their own bill. Were they
Same with
raised by
Italian.
Indian wolves? I'm so shocked what's happening. I'm intrigued. I didn't know this existed.
I don't know. I would love to be able to do this.
Okay, because our hypothesis was this is cultural, and that one kind of pokes a hole in that. Great text coming in here from Nicole in Orangeville. She says, good morning, Gurdeep and Stef. I'm Portuguese and Italian, and our families go out for birthdays all the time. However, each person pays for their own plate. For our Italian family, each person pays their meal and then offers up a small gift. While my Portuguese family comes out, there's no expectation of a gift as their presence is the present.
Okay, I know. My Italian family is the same thing. It's always like outdoing each other. That's what the thing is too. It's like we're coming and we also got you a gift and we also gave you a booster on top of it.
The next time I show up to a party without a gift, I'm just going to be like, my presence is the present.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Steph, I barely slept last night.
Why?
Okay, so I got up to pee at 1 a.m. because that's the regular thing
TMI.
now, apparently. Well, yeah, I mean, welcome to middle age. This is something that started
Okay, I'm going
sporadically.
to knock on wood because I always hear this and I remember my mom saying this and I don't do this yet.
Okay, it's not an every night thing, but
Okay.
like I did drink a glass of water before bed last night, so I kind of knew as it was as I was drinking, I'm like, oh, this might be a... And sure enough, it was.
Okay.
So I make a point of not turning on the lights if I have to
Right.
get up to go to the bathroom because I don't want it to really wake me up.
Right.
So if anything, I'll use my phone flashlight or just kind of go from memory. So go to the bathroom successfully, come back. As I'm walking back to the bed, lights off. Everyone said, get a humidifier. Get the humidifier. Got the humidifier beside my bed.
Okay.
And I hit it with my foot and it tips over. 4 liters of water.
Oh, that's a big
I
humidifier.
bought the expensive one off Amazon. Get the 4-liter one. You won't have to fill it up. And I just filled it up. So it was full. 4 liters all over the ground. I slipped, wiped out. So now I'm in it.
Is there video footage of that?
Honestly, I wish there was because then I could laugh at it. So 4 liters. I went through 2 rolls of paper towel. There was still water everywhere. It's under my bed, beside my bed.
Still?
No, not now.
Oh,
Like
I
this
was
is
like,
as it happened. There's probably still is some under my bed because I couldn't reach all of it. I have all my electronics, like a lot of you do, plugged in beside your bed. So my iPhone charger, my Apple Watch charger, my subwoofer. Yeah, I have a subwoofer beside my bed because I got a TV put in there. They're all taking a bath. They're all taking a bath.
Wow.
It took me half an hour with lights on to clean it up. I used 2 towels, 2 like bath towels, 2 rolls of paper towel, and now it's like 1:45. My alarm goes off at 3:15. I sat there because my heart's pounding. I'm like, you do that with the lights on. I sat there for the next hour and a half until my alarm went off.
Oh no!
So I've been up since 1:15 this morning.
Ew!
Because I drank a glass of water before bed and knocked over my humidifier.
Can I ask, what was Coffee doing this whole time?
Just on she was completely unbothered. Completely
Was she
unbothered.
on your
was
bed?
on my bed.
Just watching?
Just watching, like, what are you doing, bro?
So she was like Rose, and she just you were Jack.
Pretty much.
She didn't help.
I'm like, can I get on there? It's like, nope. There's plenty of space, but nope.
Oh no. Okay, so now what are you gonna do, knowing that this could be a
Go home and sleep.
No, I know.
I'm gonna have to move the humidifier.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't put it in the best place. Get the humidifier. You're
I
gonna
know,
need the humidifier. It gets dry.
I want to feel bad for you, and I do a little bit, but I really wish there was video footage.
I know, me too. It would have been like knocking it over and then wiping out in it.
Oh
yeah, and then I had to take off my clothes because they were wet. So I was also doing this mostly cleaning it up, mostly like unclothed, which is also hilarious.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.